Third question of the unit test. There are 4 separate questions, and they're all about solving the equation. So the first thing we want to do for this first one-step equation is we want to isolate the variable. So we want to use the opposite operation. Right now, the x is being multiplied by 4, so then we have to divide by 4. So we divide this side by 4, and we divide this side by 4. 4x divided by 4 is just going to give us x. 48 divided by 4 is going to give us 12. So x is going to be equal to 12. Now you're not done quite yet. Remember, we have to substitute our answer back in. So our x is right next to our 4. And guess what we got to do? We have to plug in or substitute in our answer for x. So our x is equal to 12. Then you multiply that out, and you'll see that this is going to be equal to 48, and that's going to be equal to 48. For this next question, you're still solving the equation, and you want to use the opposite operation. Now, if we look at it, remember our end goal is to have numbers on one side and variables on the other. So we already have a number on this side by itself. So what we want to do is get any other like terms or any other numbers on this side to join this side. So the only number on the other side is 8. So because you're adding 8, you want to subtract 8 from this side. And you want to subtract 8 on this side too. You want to subtract it from both sides of the equation. That way you're left with a 3x on one side and 35 minus 8, which is 27 on the other side. Then at this point, it's just like solving a one-step equation, kind of like this, where we just have one variable and one number. Here we just have one variable and one number. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. 3x divided by 3 is going to give us x, and 27 divided by 3 should give us 9. Now we substitute our answer back in. So we have 3 plus 8 equals 35. Now we don't have any value in here right now because we're substituting our value for x in this parentheses. Well, our x is equal to 9, so we throw our 9 in there. From there, we solve the equation, and we find out that 35 is going to be equal to 35. This involves a distributive property. So what we have to do is multiply our 3 to our x and our 3 to our 1. So 3 times x just give us 3x, and 3 times 1 is going to give us 3. And from there, we're just solving this two-step equation, which is very similar to this one. So you guys should be able to finish that up on your own. If we look at this equation, the first thing I gave you guys for big equations like this is to find the smallest number without a variable and move it to the other side. Well, if we look at it, the smallest number is going to be your 3. So right now you're adding 3 to this side, so in order to get rid of it from this side, you have to subtract 3 from both sides. 12 minus 3 gives you 9. And you still have that plus 5x equal to 7x. And from here, you're just solving a two-step equation. Now remember, you want your variables on one side and your numbers on the other. We have a variable by itself over here. So what we want to do is move this variable over. So what we're going to do is, because we're adding 5x, we want to subtract 5x from both sides of the equation, which leaves us our 9 on the left, and 7x minus 5x is going to give us 2x on the right. Now we just solve it like a one-step equation because we're multiplying x by 2. We want to do the opposite, divide by 2, and we divide it on both sides of the equation, which is very similar to this one-step equation. You divide your x by 4 on both sides of the equation, so you divide both sides of the equation by 2. And from there, you should get your value for x, and from there, you should be able to substitute your answer back into the equation. So when you substitute your answer back into the equation, you're going to have 12 plus 5 times your value for x equal to 7 times your value for x plus 3. And from there, when you put your answer in, they should be equal to the same amount.